I don't go by hard, strict rules. You have to adapt to your circumstances. Every day is a little bit different than the previous day.
In this video, we're going to take a look at what Dr. William Li eats in a day. Dr. Li is a world-renowned cancer researcher and the author of the best-selling book, Eat to Beat Disease. He is also the founder of the Angiogenesis Foundation, a non-profit organization that studies how food can prevent and treat diseases by affecting blood vessels. Dr. Li follows a MediterAsian diet, which is a combination of Mediterranean and Asian cuisines, both known for their longevity and health benefits. He also eats 5 disease-fighting foods 5 times a day to activate his body's natural defense systems. So let's see what he eats in a day.
I don't follow a diet, but I follow an approach. And my approach is really based on the traditions of both the Mediterranean and also based on the traditions of Asia, both of which are very healthy cultures, both of which actually cook fresh whole foods together and combine ingredients in a way that, are really appealing and tasty with traditions that go back thousands of years, okay? And eat seasonally. So I would say that's my general approach. But in the morning, honestly, I eat a very, very light breakfast and I love to have coffee. I lived in Italy during a gap year before I went to medical school, and I developed a habit of drinking coffee. I take it straight. I don't put dairy in it. I don't put sugar in it. And it turns out that it's like an espresso is like packed with omega-3 fatty acids. And so I'll have coffee during the day. Later in the day, I'll actually switch to tea. And because the caffeine doesn't bother me so much, I'm okay having tea, even after dinner, I'll sip some tea. There's different kinds of tea, like a digestive tea. There's something called Pu'er tea, P-U-E-R-H, comes from a town of Pu'er in China. It's a smoky fermented tea. It's a probiotic tea, by the way. So people don't realize that there are teas that are probiotic. And in fact, there's a new bacteria that was discovered in Pu'er tea, and it actually helps your metabolism. It helps to fight body fat, which is pretty cool. But I also drink green tea and oolong teas as well. So that's just kind of like the background of the beverage. And then water is what I'll also drink. So if you notice, I'm not talking about drinking soda. I don't drink soda. I will occasionally sip some juices, but only like fresh squeezed juices, and I take the pulp with it. I don't have the pure stuff. I want the fiber. I want the good stuff in it. And so but water is another kind of beverage I have, and I'm setting the stage for this because that's important. Beverages, what we drink, actually are an important part of what we eat. A lot of people don't think about that, right? What food should I eat? And then you don't talk about what people are drinking, but we need to hydrate every single day. So I wanted to start with that to let you know that I'm very conscious of what I drink and what I take into my body. These things are all kind of rules of thumb, and I try to get it. If I have a cup of, conventionally grown coffee, not going to hurt me. I'm okay with it. I think you have to be reasonable at how you live your life. And that's one of the things that I want people to know is that I don't go by hard, strict rules. You have to adapt to your circumstances. Every day is a little bit different than the previous day. But I do actually, I'm well aware of that. In terms of the foods that I eat, I like to actually eat fruit, not too much of it. A single pear during a seasonal fruit, like a pear, actually will have 6 grams of dietary fiber. That's been shown, a medium-sized pear, actually to be helpful to your gut microbiome. It helps to grow a bacteria called ruminococcus. That ruminococcus has been shown to up your game in terms of immune defense so powerfully, by the way, that they've studied cancer patients who are eating about 6 grams of dietary fiber. And that ruminococcus that they're able to measure out of their poop actually correlates with their immune response to fight cancer. You get better survival, actually, if you actually eat 6 grams of dietary fiber a day, anywhere from 6 to 20. And so really powerful stuff. Like, it's in the back of my mind. And by the way, for people who are interested, I this kind of information out on a regular basis every single week on a newsletter that I have on my website that's free. And, please sign up for it because I'm drinking out of a fire hose every day, looking at this new research that's coming out and trying to figure out, like, okay, so what's important for us to know? What's actionable? And so that's the kind of information that I'll incorporate into my own life, into my own diet, right? So I'll try to have some fruit. I don't eat a ton of fruit at a sitting, and that's important. If you drink 2 cups of orange juice, by the way, it takes about 8 oranges to make 2 cups of juice, and that's got more sugar in it than a can of soda. right? So a lot of people don't realize that just because it's coming out of a fruit doesn't mean that it's healthy for you. But a little bit of an orange, I would eat a whole fresh orange, a clementine, a Valencia orange. I'll just eat that, but make sure you have it with the pulp and the fiber, because that's actually good for your microbiome. So I'm very aware of that kind of a thing. I like to have a light salad. I eat very light lunches. I like to have light salad. It's an opportunity to have greens. Sometimes if I have a cooked green or vegetable, I'll take it from leftovers the night before and I'll heat it up and eat that. And I tend to eat a light-ish lunch as well. Something that, we can talk about, if you like, or we can talk about at another juncture, is really this whole idea of what's become quite trendy. We call it intermittent fasting. Eating lightly actually is equivalent to, has equivalence to fasting, because it all has to do with the amount of calories that you're putting into your body. Eating lightly actually makes everything that we've ever studied and researched live longer and live healthier. It's really when we actually have the overage of putting food and calories in our body that we overload. And I tend to have a little bit of a more filling dinner. And, I like fish. I like whole grains. I like legumes. Something that gets underrated, but that is super healthy, and dirt cheap are beans. Canned beans, dried beans. You can buy them by the bushel, by the bag, and you can create all kinds of flavorful things with herbs and spices and cook them with broths. You can make a stew out of it, and they're also good for sprinkling onto salads. And so I do like to actually eat that. And by the way, the reason I'm mentioning all this in this order is that this is how I think about meal planning. Okay. Notice I haven't yet gotten to the protein, the animal protein or the fish protein I'm actually going to eat, because sometimes they don't add one. But if I add one, I stay away from red meat. Sometimes I'll have a little chicken. If I have chicken, I'll actually have the dark meat, because the dark meat, which is usually from thigh, will normally contain more vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 is a bioactive mostly in free-range chickens that are actually allowed to eat normal things that chickens are supposed to eat. The vitamin K accumulates in their legs, and you can actually get that into your body that way. It starves cancer. It's really good for your circulation. So again, very mindful. Or fish. Here's another little kind of hack, I guess, that I use. Now, I really like to cook, and I don't love to eat, but I really enjoy food. I enjoy the history of food. I love the traditions of food. And more importantly, I enjoy good taste, right? So one of the things that you can do that's a little, if you want to get omega-3s and you want something really tasty and you want to make it super convenient and not very expensive, people might laugh at this, but I will go and buy a tin of fish, like tinned fish in the middle aisles. Not the stuff that looks like cat food. Okay, that's what I used to think when I was a kid. That the cans of tuna, when you open them up, they look and smell exactly like cat food to me. But actually, in Europe, they have these beautiful thin tins of fish that have piquillo peppers and olive oil and garlic and lemon and herbs. It's a great way to, it's a couple of bucks for a tin. You pop it open. It's already cooked, steamed, flavored. And literally, you can eat it right out of the can, and you get this amazing burst of protein, burst of flavor, and you get the omega-3s. And because when they're packed in olive oil, you also get the benefits of the bioactives in olive oil, which is a healthy fat like hydroxytyrosol, which is anti-inflammatory, good for your gut microbiome, and it actually helps your metabolism as well.